synchronicity. It shouldn't amaze me when things kind of fall into place like that, but it always does, especially this amount, this level of perfection, talking about the story with the perfect daily word. So this is also a song that was so seeped in my Chemo Dreamo because it's an affirmation of living in the future. Into my 70s I soar, into my 80s and more, loving my wrinkles and my silver hair, loving to celebrate that I'm still here. Into my 70s I soar, into my 80s and more, loving my saggy skin and creaky knees, loving to wet my pants each time I sneeze, to celebrate feeling strong, to celebrate singing the song, to celebrate living this long. Into my 70s I soar, into my 80s and 90s and more, loving my perfect health in every way, loving to celebrate each breath I take, to celebrate feeling strong, to celebrate singing the song, to celebrate living this long. Into my 70s I fly, into my 80s the limit is the sky, loving so freely takes my breath away, loving so freely is what makes me stay, to celebrate feeling strong, to celebrate singing this song, to celebrate living this long, celebrate living this long. Thank you. Well, many of you know that not only are we celebrating the 12 powers, talking about the power of understanding today, we're also finishing up our journey through the yellow brick road with our metaphysical interpretation of the Wizard of Oz. How honored am I to talk about my journey, my trip through the yellow brick road, meeting the Wizard of Oz, my doctors, traveling with the Scarecrow, the Tin Man. I mean, my Kemosabe feels all of that. And when I think about how perfect our story is as we write it, I'm reminded very often about the imperfections. Holy shift. During cAnswer, of course, there are many imperfections. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of surgeries. There's a lot of weight loss and hair loss and a lot of yuck. And I knew as soon as I was diagnosed in 2012 that somehow it was going to be my gift. Because when I went within, after the initial freak out, and I'm normal, of course. What do you mean I have cancer? I'm a total healer, I'm a singer, I do this for my living. I don't even go to doctors. How could I possibly have cancer? Well, when Spirit said, why not you? I got it. I asked instead, show me a different way to see this. What do I do with this? And Spirit said, basically, congratulations, you graduated. You have every tool you have ever needed to get through this experience, and you will. So I began writing my story, consistently asking, how do I do this differently? How do I go down that yellow brick road and fully trust that I'll come out the other side? When I recognized that coming out the other side didn't necessarily mean being here and surviving and living, perhaps coming out the other side might have been my death. My job at that moment was to embrace every possibility, and when necessary, to go down that rabbit hole. And thanks to my mom, who taught me exactly what that looked like and how to do it, when I would ask her, Mom, what happens if I don't survive this? What happens if I die? She'd say, honey, let's go there. And we would pre-grieve a possible negative scenario. We would put ourselves at my funeral, me being on the other side, and we would cry, and we would yell, and we would weep on purpose to get to the other side of that. Now that that's out of our system, now let's get on with healing and get on with what's in front of us right now, this moment. Unity has taught me almost all of this. It was a most definitive basis by which I have come. In fact, my very first paragraph in the book, the acknowledgments themselves, focus upon what we now know as our principles and how I've used them. From the Easter morning when I was 21, Unity, a denomination of the New Thought movement, provided me with a strong, growth-oriented spiritual foundation. Since then, Unity principles have guided my every step, especially from the diagnosis of cancer to now. My dad and my grandmama discovered Unity and introduced me to it at a time in my life when I needed direction. They deserve much gratitude for their loving guidance of my spirituality. Through Unity, I learned a benevolent God is everywhere present, including within everyone and within me. I learned about love and fear, joy and pain, forgiveness and misjudgment, and about my relationships with my emotions. Through Unity, I embraced meditation as a form of prayer. When I invited my sister to sing with me, she fell in love with Unity, as did our mother shortly thereafter. So my family also was seeped in Unity principles. And I know that that is the foundation through which we were able to embrace everything we needed to. That book is instantly popular, I'm so grateful to say. And I know Divine Order plays out even today, when that's the last book I have until I place another order because I sold out last week. Well, that's a thank you. What a lovely challenge to have. So, asking consistently, show me a different way to see this, rather than panicking because I have no books. I choose instead to celebrate that I sold out. And for me, as simple as that demonstration is, that's exactly what Unity taught me to do through every single dance, with chemo, with cancer, with the surgeries. Show me a different way to see this. Show me a different way to do this. When I consistently went within and asked, what do I do with this now? I heard very often, have fun with it. And I think to myself, yeah, right, how do you have fun with cancer? Well, Spirit said, you'll learn. And I was led to share my journey immediately on Facebook. And I thought at first it was asking for prayer, which of course it was. The more like-minded people we can have on our team, on this side and others, the more I ask for help and support, the more I get. I knew it was also for my source of expression. It was going to be healing for me, being very cathartic. But I had no idea what a ministry it was going to turn into. Just by being completely disclosing and as transparent as I could be, sharing the promise and the gifts of this journey, as well as the stuff that's not so pleasing, not so fun, my fear, my pain, to show up as completely human, not only enabled people to pray with and for me, but they too helped me see things in a different way. In fact, the way I announced it to people when I was first diagnosed was, I get to heal from ovarian cancer. When you talk about me, and I know you will, please use those words. Lauren gets to heal from ovarian cancer. And that immediately shifted things in people's minds. I am so aware that when I talk about someone with cancer, the first instinct is to go, oh, that poor thing, I'm so sorry she's going through that. And this energy doesn't help them at all, does it? And I know that that's my human tendency. So what if instead I can say, congratulations, boy, are you going to be in for a journey. This is so exciting. Even though people think, are you crazy? This is nasty, this is ick. Notice what that does to the vibration. It raises it just enough to be able then to maybe relax into the healing that is mine. Because what's the opposite? Oh my God, I've got cancer. I've got to go through chemo again. I don't believe this. I'm going to get sick. And my whole body is reacting to that. Just like it reacts when I see something negative on the news. What do we do with that? Oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. Now my whole body is filled with it. Can we instead say, wow, what an opportunity for healing. What an opportunity for growth. And leave it at that. Feel the difference. It's the difference between what now and what now. Same two words, totally different feeling, totally different vibration. And when I can allow myself to be excited about something, it shifts everything. I had an opportunity to practice that on Tuesday night on my way home. I didn't do too well. My cell phone had died. I thought my husband was not going to come pick me up from Bloomington to Indianapolis. That was the last I heard. He was my knight in shining armor and showed up anyway and couldn't find me. I was inside the airport, he was right on the outside, and we had no idea where each other was. I got a hotel room. I wound up at the hotel on my iPad because my phone still wouldn't charge. I realized how desperately dedicated I am to that stupid instrument. When I finally got a hold of him, he had pulled over in the parking lot of Waffle House in Indianapolis just to say, I've been waiting for you for 2 hours. And I typed back, "Oh, I'm right here at the airport. Let me give you the address. Why don't you come and spend the night with me?" And I didn't hear from him again. All night. Didn't hear from him. "He's dead on the side of the road. He was mugged. He fell asleep. He's in the hospital." My mind just ran amok all night long. I was not able to feel any sense of calm at all because I was listening to that negative babble brain. 2 hours later, I start calling home. If he's home, of course he's going to pick up. No answer there either. I double freak out. Now I start calling the hospitals at 7 o'clock in the morning. And because there was no Phil Long admitted into the hospitals, it was like, phew, well, now I know he's on the side of the road somewhere. What else could have happened? Why else would he not answer the phone? Nothing in my mind made any sense to me at all. When I finally got a hold of him at like 8:30, he had fallen asleep with the dogs on the deck and couldn't hear the phone inside. And he had called and left the very last message out of like 5 or 6 that said, "I'm going home." And I didn't hear it. And I recognized how pervasive that monkey mind was and how easy it was to go to the worst case scenario. And then I thought about my mother. How do parents do this with kids who are away from them without worrying about them all the time? I got a little taste of that. I don't know how y'all do it. And I remembered again, I have to breathe. I have to trust until I know otherwise. It's my job to stay in my peace, my joy, and my love. Sweet Spirit, show me how. I had no idea then. Sing. Everything is always working out for me. Meditate. Go within. Whatever I could do to find my peace. I finally got 2 hours of sleep that night. And I'm still kind of shaking it out. That was so stressful. I recognize how blessedly human I still am in situations like that. So can we take anything in our lives, reframe it in order to claim it at a different level as our truth? To write your own story and to change the feeling of it. We may not be able to change the actual circumstances, obviously. What happens, happens. But we can always change how we feel about it. We can always change how we speak about it. And then consequently, how it feels. Because when I claim something as my own and that it's a gift, it begins to be such. So many people, after this book has come out, have come up to me and said, "You know, your cancer dance really was a gift, wasn't it?" Yeah. And I believe everything that we go through is happening for us, not to us. And that happening to us, as Susan said earlier, makes me a victim. Why in the world would I have to go through cancer 3 whole times? Poor me. And that's so easy to feel, let me tell you. But on the other hand, can I claim myself now as an expert chemo Dreamo person? You know, can I wrap my mind and heart around the health that I have now, knowing that it may not last forever? And when I think about how my whole life has deepened and enriched, not in spite of, but because of these stories that are now part of me, I know that it's a gift for not only me, but for everybody. Because we are all traveling in these vessels, in these bodies. And when I live, if I'm lucky enough to live into my 70s, I am going to bless having my mommy's jowls. I'll be old enough to have those things happen to my face, I hope. And as I get older, I may have to have knees taken care of. I get to bless being old enough to have things happening for me as an older person. Or I get to bless crossing over, and I'll probably wonder why I waited so long. Because the more I learn about the other side, only being this far away, we don't die. We just leave our bodies, and energy never goes away. It's still here. My mom and dad are more here than ever. Ever. I can feel and sense them. And about a month or so ago, I saw my mom's face in front of mine for the first time. I had just come off of a wonderful weekend with Marcia and Christine at Singing Alive. And I was so high as a kite, I was bouncing off the walls. And when I got home, Mom's cat, who I inherited, was on her way out. She was passing. And I drove her to the vets in tears, coming off of this high singing weekend, crashing down into this grief, or so I thought. And as we were driving to the vet, I swear to God, I saw my mom's face look like this. I mean, that's the way her enthusiasm, that face that lit up when Kristen and I would come in the room, or when she would see someone for the first time, it was that kind of thrill and excitement. And I saw that, and I knew she was excited to be with her cat again. And I said out loud, "Mom, curb your enthusiasm. I'm not so happy about this." But I realized that was the first direct communication I had. And how could I feel bad for my loss of that little cat when my mom was so frickin' excited to see Sugar again? I couldn't. And that helped my grief lift. And that again showed me how present she still is with me. And how present our inner spirit is within all of us. And how when I ask for guidance, when I go within and ask, show me how to see this differently, and I listen, I always hear and feel a holy shift of energy that shows me exactly how to feel and see this with a little bit higher vibration, with a little more joy, perhaps. A couple of months into the first chemo round of 18, I was in a meditation, and I was asked by Spirit to remember what it was I was praying for right before the initial diagnosis. And I couldn't think my way to that, but I had to feel. And so I breathed. And I asked my gut to remind me what it was I was praying for. And it all came at once. I would love to spend more time at home. Sweet Spirit, show me how. I would like to spend more time with my family. Sweet Spirit, show me how. I would like to know God more fully. Sweet Spirit, show me how. I would like to know a deeper relationship to surrender. Sweet Spirit, show me how. And my last one was, I would love to know what it feels like not to worry about money. And within a month, I was diagnosed with cancer. I couldn't think about anything else other than healing, especially money. And consequently, since that was as far out of my reality as possible, money started flowing in from all kinds of sources all over the country. My medical bills started to dry up. I was getting financial aid out the you-know-what, and I had no health insurance. I got to see true prosperity, manifestation from the inside out, because there was nothing I could do. I just had to be. And to learn how that looks and what that feels like is a lesson in and of itself. How can I just be and trust? I'm willing. I'm willing to just be. I'm willing. Show me what that looks like. I am willing. Deep breath, and as you exhale, release anything that no longer serves you. Inhale love, peace, and joy, and exhale anything to the contrary. Sweet Spirit, I am willing to do what's mine to be done. Show me. Sweet Spirit, I am willing to heal. Show me how. As I ask my inner spirit to guide me to my next right step, my only human job is to breathe, relax, and pay attention to the directives that follow. Very often, I hear something that my whole being wants to question. You want me to do what? But it's when I step off in faith and trust that the next step appears, and I got it. Mine is only to relax and receive. I am willing. Sweet Spirit, show me how. I am willing to not do what's not mine to do. Show me, Spirit, how to let go of those things that don't serve me any longer. And that's when I hear, you are not to worry. You are not to fret or fear. Yours is only to trust and allow. And I got it. Show me, sweet spirit. Show me how. I am willing to heal. I am willing. I am willing to feel good. I am willing to heal. I am willing to feel. Please join us. I am willing to heal. I am willing to feel good. I am willing to heal. I am willing to feel. One more time, like you mean it. I am willing to heal. I am willing to feel good. I am willing to heal. I am willing to feel. Once more, quietly. I am willing to heal. I am willing to feel good. I am willing to heal. I am willing to feel. And staying in this place of peace and willingness, knowing that all we need do is breathe and relax our bodies and trust that that inner voice is there and will indeed guide us. All we need do is pay attention and then follow. Sweet Spirit, I am so grateful to know this truth of understanding that I, in my human mind, can only understand so much. And yet when I stand under the presence and the power of the Christ within, it is the deeper, truer understanding that then bubbles up to the surface and helps me be aware of my true nature and my true potential and who I am to be in the here and now. And I am so grateful. So start wiggling your fingers and toes when you're ready. Feel a presence of the room and the people in it as you bring yourself back to the here and now, staying in this place of willingness and allowing. that is your true nature.